Everybody watching this on the replay. Hey to everybody on Facebook and on YouTube tuning into this broadcast. Super excited to be here this afternoon. This is going to be a brief broadcast. I'm kind of in the middle of a bunch of different things, but I made a promise that I was going to come and share on this particular topic to somebody. So I wanted to make sure that I did that. And the topic is how to create better content for social media. Okay. So, one of the things before I give you guys the tips, and I do have like some actual things you can do to start to make better content. But before I tell you about that, I want to do two things. Number one, share this video with at least 3 entrepreneurs that you know that are struggling with their content creation. This is really going to help them to make it a lot simpler, a lot easier for them to show up consistently on social media and produce good content. Definitely, I will. Thank you so much for that. The second thing that I want you guys to do is go register for my Build a Bankable Brand Bootcamp. Okay. If this is the area that you're interested in, you want to hear more on how you can improve your social media engagement, increase your followers on Facebook and on Instagram, and really just stop struggling to come up with a good content marketing strategy, then my Build a Bankable Bootcamp is designed to help you do just that. And it's 100% free. We are in our sessions next week, July 26th through the 29th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it's going to be amazing because I'm going to be bringing so many awesome tips, strategies, tools, resources, things you guys can do to just really get a handle on your marketing and tap into the global marketplace. For those of you who already follow me, you already know that I am so passionate about helping Black business owners tap into the global marketplace and use social media to reach audiences all over the world. And if that's something that you want to learn how to do, I want to help you be able to do that. So make sure you go sign up. All you got to do is go to rightclickagency.com and click on the tab that says Build a Bankable Brand Bootcamp. Okay. That's how you go sign up. All right. So go do that today. Make sure you do that. All right. So, like I was saying, as we all know, when you are creating better content, it's going to automatically increase your engagement, right? People want to engage with content that they actually like. Thank you. Thank you so much. Right. And so if you're struggling to get likes, you're struggling to get people to comment or take any sort of action on your post, the content that you're making on social media, that's a key indicator that the content that you're creating is in some way, shape, or form just not aligned with what your audience is looking for, or that you are not getting your content in front of the right people that actually want to see it, right? And so, but unfortunately, what happens is a lot of times when people are not getting good engagement on their content, that discourages them. It makes them show up less. It makes them post less, and in the long run, it really has an even more negative impact, because the less you post, the less people you're going to reach, the less you're able to use social media to build your business. So it really is a catch 22. And the best way for you to increase your engagement is by creating content that your followers or your subscribers actually want to see, actually want to hear from you. Okay. So, how do you do that, right? How do I know what the people on my profiles want to see, want to hear from me? Well, the best and easiest way I can tell you to figure out what people want to know is to really think about your most frequently asked questions. This is a tip that I give anybody who is trying to come up with the topics that they should be talking about on social media. Okay, when people are reaching out to you, they're scheduling a call with you, they're meeting you in person, what are some of the most common questions that you're being asked about what you do, how you help people? And you would be more familiar with your particular industry, with your particular products and services more than anybody, right? So start with that. That's going to dictate, what you should actually be talking about on social media. And usually, I'm going to say for most people, those frequently asked questions are a really great starting place. Hey, you guys, thank you so much for coming in. So if you are not sure what to say, what people actually want to hear from you, think about what people ask you when they meet you in person. Hey, Body Fusion Biz, hope you're doing great. Think about what people ask you when they schedule calls with you. Think about the things that people are actually searching for in your industry, okay? The second way you can come up with content to create for social media, better content that's going to get more engagement, is by reading up on the news in your industry, okay? Be up to date on what people are talking about in your industry. If you are in the health and wellness industry and there was some late breaking news about something, I'm not sure, then you need to be aware of that. If there is a new trend in the fitness industry and you're a fitness coach, you need to be aware of that. Anything that's newsworthy that is related some way, shape, or form to your business is the type of content that you should be looking for. Now, you don't want to just, I mean, I'll say this, it really depends on what industry you're in, because news, in my opinion, can fit into a lot of different categories. When you watch the news, there's going to be local news, there's going to be entertainment news, there's going to be financial news, there's going to be funny or heartwarming stories, right? So you need to figure out which of those things is relevant to your audience. And I'll just give you guys an example. I used to have a client that was a home health care agency, and one of the way that we found newsworthy stories to share for their content on social media was by finding videos of older people on TikTok dancing or doing really funny things, right? And I don't know if you guys remember during the pandemic, a lot of news stations, but particularly NBC, and maybe that's just the one I know because that's what I watch, but Hoda Kotb started doing Hoda's Boost, like these daily stories of just really uplifting, like, you know, things that were positive, and a lot of times it included older people, grandparents, people with disabilities, all of that type of stuff. And so we started using that particular trending topic, right, as a way to pull content for this particular client and talk about things that were newsworthy, that were trending, that were relevant, right? And so you want to do the same thing for your business. Is this making sense to anybody? Is it, if this is helping you, just give me a yes or some heart so that I know that you guys understand what we're talking about. Okay. And for those of you who are just hopping in, I'm sharing with you today some tips for how you can create better content that's going to get better engagement on social media. And like I said at the beginning of this broadcast, you know, one of the things that a lot of people don't really understand is that the number one way for you to increase your engagement, your likes, your comments, all of that type of stuff on social media is to create content that is more in alignment with the people that you are trying to attract, right? So I want to do things that are going to get people interested in what I'm talking about, okay? Thank you, Body Fusion Biz. All right. All right. Great. So, the first thing we said was that you want to examine your frequently asked questions. Okay. What are people asking you when they meet you about your business, about your brand? And that's usually a great place to start when it comes to creating content. The second area is searching for things that are trending and really being up to date on your particular industry, and things that are relevant to your particular industry so that you can share these news items, whether they're serious or funny or heartwarming, but you can share that with your audience. Okay. Number three, the best way for you to create new content, and a lot of people really struggle to do this, is that you have to constantly, or I'm not going to say create new content because that's not what I mean for this one, okay? But if I am constantly getting into new circles with the content that I already have, then it's always new to a new person. Okay. So, one of the tips I teach my clients how to do is how to create content that's always relevant to their audience. And that's why I want to go back. That first tip that I gave y'all about really thinking about your frequently asked questions, that's a really, really great tool, a really great strategy for you to use. And then for those of you who want some more support, like I said, please make sure you register for the Build a Bankable Brand Bootcamp that's coming up next week, July 26th through the 29th. But after you have created like really high quality, amazing content, you can always reintroduce your old stuff to new people. Okay. And so a lot of times I see people who are unfortunately inside of a group or a circle or a community or wherever connected to a certain amount of followers, and they have really saturated their audience. And what I mean by that is that you have reached the capacity of the people that you are connected to that want what you got. Okay. I know you want to think that everybody that knows you is going to want to buy your stuff. I know you believe that there are more people. There are more people inside of this circle that want what you have. But more often than not, many of you, and this happens to all business owners, right? This is why big corporations go into new marketplaces, right? It's like I was just watching The Founder the other day, which is about Ray Kroc and how he expanded McDonald's from one hamburger shack in San Bernardino to being a company that serves 1% of the world's population every single day, right? And one of the ways that he was doing this was by entering into new marketplaces. Now, with social media, you guys have an amazing opportunity. And I've been saying this a lot in my recent broadcast. Now, more than ever before, you have the ability to really reach global marketplaces, but you have to be intentional about doing that, right? The reason I'm only going to be here for a few minutes is because I'm getting ready to go do a recording for a class that I teach. But in one of these classes, one of the today's lesson, I was talking about how you can actually specifically target locations in the content that you're creating now on social media, so you can get so specific and you can say, hey, I know I'm in Philadelphia, but I want to specifically target people who live in New Mexico because I know New Mexico people need this particular product. And so I'm going to target them with the content that I create on social media, and I'm going to make sure that people in New Mexico are seeing this, or in New Zealand, right? Really anywhere in the world. And you can do that now for cheaper than ever before, too. And that's the really amazing thing about social media. Now, that's an example of like using paid ads to be able to get into new circles. But there are a lot of free ways on social media to enter into new groups. And the number one way I'm going to tell you guys, are y'all ready? But before I tell y'all, can y'all just give me some hearts and say ready in the chat? So that way I can get something out of this too. Because there is a very simple, it's very easy, free way to get your content in front of new audiences on social media, and you don't have to spend any money for it. If I get two readies in the chat, I'll tell y'all. If not, I'll move on to my next tip. Okay. All right, I got one ready. Let me see. Do I got one over here on YouTube? Oh, okay. I got two readies. Okay, so the easiest way for you to expand your content, to get your content in front of new people on social media, is by using groups. Okay, there are specifically groups targeted by location oftentimes, and also by um interest. Okay, and you can use those groups to get the content that you have already created that's really amazing, that's relevant, that positions you as an expert, that answers questions, that does all of the things that we talked about, right? You can use that content to expand your audience inside of those groups. Now, that strategy I just gave y'all, that was free 99. But if you use that, if you leverage it, you have the power and the possibility to really get your products and service in front of thousands of people. And I will give you an example. One of my clients most recently has been using this particular thing to get her offer in front of more people. And in the past, it's been about 2 weeks, she has added over 1,500 new people to her email list. Somebody just say, wow. Somebody say, wow, it works. Wow, it works. Okay. So, I mean, again, I always tell people nowadays, I tell people results not likely, because most people don't understand that every business is different. But if you could gain even 10% of that, 150 new people on your email list in the next 2 weeks. Some of you guys haven't added 150 people to your email list this year, right? Let alone 1,500. So if you could add 150 new people to your email list, you know, what would that look like for your business if you could turn those people into actual paying customers, right? But it all starts with creating better content that people actually want to engage with. Thank you, Will, for putting in the chat. It works. But content that people actually want to engage with, content that people actually like. Okay, so that's my third tip to get into new circles. My fourth tip, you guys, is to take creative breaks. And this might, what I mean by this is a little bit different than it sounds, because I know that a lot of people talk about like taking social media breaks and being absent from social media. But I think a lot of times, that is to a detriment in your business, unfortunately. And if you already don't really like social media and then you give yourself a break, I know for me, like sometimes I might not never come back. Right. So I don't want to put myself in that predicament. But what I do want you to do is to prepare for the times when you know you're going to need a break. Right? Prepare for the times when you know you're going to need some time off, when you know you're going to have a lot of stuff going on, you're going to have a busy weekend, you're going to, have a lot of responsibilities because your kids have basketball practice and gymnastics and all of these other things going on, or you just need some personal time. And the way that you prepare for needing a break from social media and giving yourself time to relax is by being consistent and creating content. Yes, exactly. People easily forget. So you definitely have to stay consistent, because I just would never, ever, ever come back. Like, I'm off social media. What? And don't let me like really survive. Really survive or thrive without it. Never coming back. But no, I'm just joking. But you have to understand that you're gonna not want to be present on, or you're not gonna want to be camera ready every day. And that's the number one pushback that I get from people about going live or creating reels or being on camera. Is like, I don't want to be the face of the business. I don't want to be on camera all the time. Well, if you learn that this is number one, it is a job, right? So that's why people get paid for content creation. People get paid to be influencers, because if you're going to use these platforms, you do have to look at it as a job role. And so if I treat it like a job role, then I treat it like this is something that I'm required to do, and I do it in a systematic way, right? I create a process, or I use a process that gets me the results that I'm looking for. It seems with rules, you can take a break and still come back. Well, you can to a certain degree, but the thing is that you have to understand that every piece of content that you post on social media or don't post on social media impacts your ranking in the algorithm, and it also impacts your online credibility. So see, a lot of times people are focused, and this is another thing, I'm glad you brought that up, because a lot of times clients are focused on like how many people are seeing their stuff, how many people are liking their stuff. But I know for me personally, views and comments and actual call schedule and actual customers are two different things. And a lot of times they are not necessarily dependent on one another. Now, I tell you guys all the time that marketing is a numbers game. So the more people you are able to get your content and products and services in front of, the better that's going to be for your business in the long run, right? And every day that you post or don't post, that matters. The reason that reels are you're able to still get a lot of reach with reels even if you don't post consistently is because reels is using something else. There is another factor in your reach, and that's the audio that you use. So if the audio that you use on your reel is a trending audio, and you leverage that sounds reach, then you have the ability to really leverage your content's reach, um in a way that's not 100% dependent on the content that you post. But I want to say something that I didn't really talk about, which is you have to be leery of using so much. I see a lot of professional business owners, like professional services, that be using like trending audios, and so it may be like a funny line that somebody is saying. Don't trend so much that it backfires, right? Especially if something can be considered abrasive or taken the wrong way. And also understand that when you use trending audio a lot, it might be getting you more views, but it's hard for you to stand out. So let's use you, Body Fusion Biz, as an example. If you use a trending audio and like 10 other or 50 other people who are making body products, whether it's like, bath bombs or hand creams or lotions or shimmer things, whatever it is that they're making, and you're now in the mix with something that's trending so much, is 500 other videos that's literally the exact same thing, that makes it very, very difficult for you to stand out in that industry. So you want to just be mindful. I think, again, trends can be your friend. They can be used to help you boost your reach, boost your engagement, but you want to be mindful of that. And also, reels should not be your only type of content that you're sharing on social media. You should be sharing a wide variety of other content pieces, because you don't want to be too dependent on one thing to grow your business. Like, I know before a lot of people were very dependent on live stream, and now you see live stream is getting less and less views for a bunch of different reasons. Okay. So, that was a lot. I hope that this was helpful for you guys. I know I gave y'all a ton of valuable information for how to create better content for social media. Remember, at the end of the day, the best way for you to get more engagement from the content that you share on your profiles is to create the content that your followers want to see. Okay. So it's not about you, it is always about them. Why do people want to see your content? Why do people want to engage with you? Why do people want to be connected with you? Those questions need to always be at the front of your mind when it comes to the content that you're sharing on social media. And if you watch this video this far, even if you're watching the replay, do me a favor, like I asked you at the beginning, and share this with 3 entrepreneurs who you know could use this information, because I know that you're connected to people who you want to see win. And if you need more help with your content, your online marketing strategy, or just getting more sales, please do me a favor and go register for the Build a Bankable Brand Bootcamp. You can go to rightclickagency.com and click on the tab that says Build a Bankable Brand. Okay. It's a free summit. Next week, we do have a VIP level, but you guys can go register for free and get access to all of the amazing information that I'm going to share. All right. So I love you guys. Hopefully, you use this information to grow. If it helps you, come back and let me know if you started using these tips. And I will see you next time. Would you like to come on my show? Absolutely. I would love to come on your show. Will, send me some information in the DM and let's get the conversation started. All right, you guys. Have a great rest of your day. I will see you all later on. Bye.